There's something special, isn't there, about winning a prize, that sense of recognition. Perhaps even there's cash involved, there's the prestige that comes from, and the sense of well-being that comes from knowing that people have said, "Do you know what, you did a really good job, well done, congratulations." My name's Simon Bucknell and I'm in central Stockholm. I'm in the old city, standing just outside the Nobel Museum. In fact, you can see it just behind me. It's an old 18th century building, but the museum's quite new and it charts the story of the history of the prize as well as the life of its founder, Alfred Nobel, who in the late 19th century, 1896 I think, laid down in his will the terms on which he wanted the returns from his fortune to be made available in the form of prizes across a range of disciplines, including chemistry, physics, literature, testing my knowledge now, and of course famously in the world of politics at least, peace. And it's lovely exhibition, learnt a great deal. There's various clips and footage of various prize winners, and just recently in Germany I understand that the laureates meet every year or so and come together, and a photographer had the idea of asking each of the current living laureates to draw what it was that won them their prize. And there's a whole series of sketches with the laureate standing holding a sheet of paper with a visual that they themselves have used, drawn with crayons, visualizing their prize, showing what it was that they discovered or created in visual form, which I thought was a really nice idea and quite surprising, at least to me. I expected something a little bit more orthodox, but I think it brings it to life a little bit. But there is something special about prizes, and you may well yourself have won prizes, whether perhaps at school or maybe in sports, in academia, perhaps in the workplace, perhaps for a particular achievement or for having accomplished something that other people really have respected. And of course the Nobel Prize, few prizes are as well known as that prize on an international level. But in my own case, I've been fortunate enough to be awarded a number of prizes in the world of public speaking. And in fact, what got me into this business of speaking, what triggered it, if you like, was the success in winning, I suppose you might say, prizes or competitions through the world of Toastmasters International. And of course, those are moments, those successes that I look back on with great pride. But at the same time, and I think this is true of prizes more generally, I'm reminded of some words. I think it was Darren LaCroix who said this to me in a session, or maybe I was part of a session, or maybe it was one-to-one, I forget. Darren, if you're watching this, I appreciate the comments. He said that if you want to win a trophy, the easiest way is to buy one. And I think there's so much truth in that, as in the prize is never, or at least it shouldn't ever be, an end in itself. And I really do believe that that's true, because there's something about the journey. You've got to be up for the journey, the endeavour that's involved. I was watching a film here about Marie Curie, and her voice is narrated through the film, and she spoke about the impact of the loss of her husband, who was killed in Paris, hit by a wagon, I think, in 1903, and she worked incredibly hard to uncover radiation and to research that subject. And the fact that she became the first recipient of not one but two Nobel Prizes, first for physics and then for chemistry, I don't think that's what motivated her at all. It's quite clear that it wasn't. It was a love for, passion for science, specifically for chemistry, but she was driven by things quite unrelated to the winning of a prize. And yet, of course, she's one of the most famous and prestigious winners of this award. The journey is what makes it worthwhile, and if there's a prize at the end, well, then that's the icing on the cake. It's a consideration in terms of motivation. Peter Thompson, my mentor, makes the comment about being paid for, whether as a speaker or a consultant or a coach. A lovely phrase. He speaks of money being the silent applause for a job well done, rather than the money ever being an end in itself. And I think that's true. So there's a food for thought from a slightly cloudy, slightly rainy day in Stockholm. It's a wonderful city, by the way. If you've never visited Stockholm, I heartily recommend it. I just had a fabulous little meal in a cafe here. Very much enjoyed the museum. Pay a visit to Stockholm. It's worth it. So in the meantime, whether it be prize-filled or not, speak well and speak soon.